My hens are starting to settle in on the farm. They've been here about a week now, and I've got them pretty well trained. They're coming in every evening before dusk, and the poop hole opens every morning at around 6:30, which in July has been light for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And they're laying very well. A couple of you asked what variety these are. Well, the brown ones in the foreground are just sold in the UK as brown hens. They're the commercial laying strain that's produced by the millions for the UK egg market. Our eggs in the UK are brown shelled eggs traditionally. I know in the US you look at a brown egg and think, what's that? It's supposed to be white. But these girls lay these things all day, every day. We're getting about 3 to 4 eggs per day, and I've introduced a couple of new hens over the last week which will give me a little bit of variety on these. They're a very good size egg. If I just pick these up and show you in my hand, that gives you some indication of the size of these. They definitely classify as a large egg. But I've introduced a couple of new hens which will lay me blue-green eggs. They won't be quite as large as this, they'll be a little size down. Not quite a bantam egg, but lovely blue-green colour. My idea here is to get a variety of eggs, sizes and shapes for the kitchen. The new hens, you can probably just make out one of them in the background there, that white one. It's called a Cheshire Blue, and it's basically a crossed Aracona chicken with probably a light Sussex. Don't exactly know what goes into the mix. They're supposed to lay between 200 and 250 eggs a year. And the chicken run that I've got these girls in is extremely shady. It's been overgrown by these sycamore trees. So during the summer months the chicken house never overheats. This is east facing, the way I'm pointing the camera at the moment, over the paddocks. And the chicken house that we restored, we showed you last week, is a large commercial ark on a sled base, which is designed really for pulling by a tractor around a field. Now, my girls have access through bottom of that gate out onto the paddock, and I like keeping chickens that have grass or access to grass. If they do that and they can eat a variety in their diet, then you'll get a beautiful dark yellow yolk, almost orange sometimes. You can see them making their way out. They know exactly where the hole in the mesh is. We are taking the risk, I know, having them here going properly free range. We're on the edge of the countryside, there are foxes around. I know that's a risk, but if you're not going to keep chickens in concentration camp conditions and you want proper free range eggs, then you've got to let them go properly free range. And the only protection we can really give them is to keep them in safely overnight. But I know the foxes do hunt during the day here, so it is a risk, but one I'm prepared to take. That's my Cheshire White. A little size up on the brown hens, but she's starting to explore the paddock now. It'll take them a week or so to settle into the flock completely and amalgamate. The two new ones are keeping themselves to themselves. Tend to be literally henpecked by the new hens till they establish a pecking order. They're enjoying this wood chip that was brought down here when we cut a load of trees down from the top paddock. A lot of the branches were wood chipped in March, I think it was this year, and they're starting to turn this beautifully. The geese use this as a mound during the night time. They roost on the top, like the heat over the winter as it was composting, but they just like the vantage points now. But the chickens will spread this out, and what I'm going to do is put a lot of this into this chicken run for them to spread out during the autumn, and I'm hoping that will stop it turning to mud just by putting a good top dressing of the bark on, allow the worms to come through, give them a good scraping mulch basically that they can work through, get any bugs that are coming through it as the wood chip breaks down. Should make a nice base to keep the chickens nice and clean and the eggs nice and clean that they lay over the damp winter period.